Hey guys, today I'm going to start a video and I'm going to show you guys. We've gotten a lot of feedback from our stone crabbing videos that we put on, and we didn't really do a lot that last year because the weather is horrible when we're fishing in the wintertime. We're getting the strong northeast winds. But this year I'm going to try to go from the beginning all the way to the end of the season and bring you into a day in the life of a commercial stone crab fisherman. So right now it's the off season, and what we have to do is we've got to go ahead and pressure clean and repair, clean the ropes, paint all the buoys on all of our traps. And this is a process that takes us, probably a couple weeks to get them all done, get them all clean, repaired, buoys painted, the ropes. We got to check everything. And so today we're starting day one, and we are pressure cleaning. We've got to do all of our traps to pressure clean all of them. So we're going to bring you along day one, pressure cleaning, all the way until the last day where we're painting buoys, putting the buoys on. And right before we start putting them in the water, we're going to start getting the cowhide. We're going to cut it, get it all ready to go, bait them up, load the boat, and set them in the water. Fingers crossed for another good year of stone crabbing. One down, 118 more to go. All right, guys, day one has come to an end. As I say, day one, it's been like 5 hours, but I started late today. We were out recording yesterday. We've been cleaning the boat, and then I started doing this at 3:30. It's almost 8, so a little bit less than 5 hours, but I got 66 of them done on day one, and I could keep going and do some more. We probably got another 45 minutes of sunlight, but my wife is making yellow rice and chicken, Puerto Rican style yellow rice and chicken. If you've never had it before, go somewhere and order it, but it's got to be where the rice is very wet. It's to die for. So that dinner bell is ringing. I got to get cleaned up, put the pressure washer away, and get ready to enjoy a feast. But we're gonna keep going. Every day we'll bring you along and show you what it takes to get all these things ready, all the way up until we drop them in the water. Day one is over. All right, guys, here we go. Day two. And so first day I was able to complete 66. I've got, how many do we say we have left? 61 or 62 traps I have left to do, so I should be able to easily finish that today. But I also want to try to pressure clean the ropes as well. I'm taking off all the ropes, and in case you're wondering, do you have to take the ropes off every year? We don't, but the reason why I'm taking it off is because I'm pulling these by hand, and I have the rope tied from one corner, and when I'm pulling it up on the boat, I have to flip my wrist upside down like that to pull the trap up, and I'm getting really bad pains on my wrist over the course of the season. So now I'm going to change it, and I'm going to have it tied from both ends with the rope coming out in the middle, so ergonomically I could grab it like this and pull up without having to twist my wrist. So my wrist will be able, put less pressure on it. So we have to tie all of those adjustments to the rope this year. So we're taking the ropes off. But normally what I would do is just clean the rope, and then we paint the buoys on the rope. And then when they're new, we would string all the buoys up on a rope, and then we paint them all like that, and then we attach them. But this year I'm taking them all off. Then after I'm done cleaning the traps, I'll have to just clean the ropes and clean the buoys. I don't want to hit these with a pressure cleaner because it'll break these are made out of styrofoam. So we're just gonna clean these with a little Brillo pad, get them all nice and cleaned up so the paint will stick to it. So that's the goal by the end of today. Let me see if I can get all the traps cleaned. And I'm gonna have like 100, and we have spare ropes. We got somewhere around 150 rope and buoys. So I don't know if I'll be able to complete all of that today, but fingers crossed we're gonna get a lot done. because we're doing some maintenance to the boat as well. My son's up there doing stuff to it, and then we're planning on going out day after tomorrow to go fishing and record another video. So day 2, let's see how it goes. By the way, that chicken and yellow rice was to die for. We ate the whole pot that night. All right, guys, all the traps are clean. Some of the spare traps I had to leave. I got them from a friend of mine. He also commercially fishes lobster, and he's the one that sold me the trap certificates, and he gave me like 20 of them, and probably about 8 of them are in grave danger of repair. So we've got them in what we call the hospital pile, and those we'll get to. But we've got, you can see behind me, we've got 119, which is what we have tags for. Now we're moving on to pressure cleaning all the ropes, get them all cleaned. Then we're going to move on to buoys. So here we are, end of day 2. I finished pressure cleaning all of our traps. Car going by. We got all 119 of them ready. All we got to do now is start repairing all of them, fixing any damages that they might have, any of the temporary fixes that we did out in the ocean. And then all the traps will be ready to go. Now we got left is clean the buoys, string them up, paint them, and we're in pretty good shape. We are in pretty good shape. We're gonna pause tomorrow. We're gonna be working on the boat, getting stuff ready. We're going fishing the following day, so there's a bunch of stuff that we gotta get. We've been doing the deep cleaning on the boat. We do it once a year, detail, wax, everything. Just because we use the boat so much, it gets dirty. So as we're cleaning all year, we do a very deep clean, wax, buffing, all that stuff that my son has been working on. But I'm gonna jump back at this next week. We're gonna be recording and editing now in the next couple days. But we'll bring you guys along and show you the whole process. Alrighty, welcome to day 3. Today what I'm doing, now we've got, down here closer to it's too low. Today we've got, the bench is too low. I got the camera on a tripod here. Today I'm all by myself. My son is not here to hold the camera. But so day 3, it's almost nighttime now. My wife just got home, so she go watch a baby. And today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting ropes, and not for the actual traps. Last year I put all brand new ropes on every single trap, the exact same length on all of them. So that I know how much rope, and then every trap could be versatile. They could go anywhere. When I had purchased them, there were different lengths of ropes on the traps, and I like that because you need to be able to know that you could take any trap that you have and put it up to a certain, depth when you're out there moving traps around. But what I'm doing today is I'm cutting these ropes so that I could change the knot system that we're doing on the traps. I'm going to tie, the rope will essentially be tied to each side of the trap, and then it'll give me a loop in the middle where I'll make a little loop like this, and then the main line will be tied to that loop going all the way up. So I got 119 traps, and I'm going to have to wind up making, once the season starts right away, before I start losing any, I would say probably anywhere between 15 to 20 spare traps to have them here at home. because these things get run over by boaters left and right throughout the season, especially at the beginning of the season because the weather's nice. There's still a lot of boats going out. Once we get into the November, December, January, February time frame, it is rough out there. And there's times that I go to the marina, Blackman Marina by our house, I don't know, 200, 300 boat capacity. And, by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning on a weekend on a good weather day, it's at capacity and closed. And I'll be the only truck there and trailer. So really good. I get to park right in the first spot, but it's rough out there. Very, very rough. Some days are borderline unsafe to be out there. But so going back to it, at the beginning of the season, a bunch of these get run over by other boaters. So we're going to cut these ropes today. And the reason why I'm changing this system, I had it last year with the ropes just hooked up to one side. So we're pulling the trap up from one corner coming up, is because when it gets to the side of the boat and I have to pull the trap up, I'm essentially grabbing the rope with my wrist and all the weight is pulling down and my wrist is upside down. So ergonomically, that's not the best way for you to be lifting weight with your wrist. And as you're pulling, your wrist is bending backwards and I get really bad pains in my wrist. So I'm going to change it around. So when I grab the rope now, I'll be grabbing from an upward motion like this, pulling straight up versus having my wrist twist around. Spam. You guys get spam calls? Oh, if somebody knows how to get my phone number off of lists, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I tried one time that do not call thing that you do online, and it does not work, man. I still keep getting a bunch of calls. So essentially what I did is just 6 foot pieces of rope, and now I just got to go ahead and cut. I would probably cut 130, 140 of them, or until I run out of rope in the roll. And then I should be able to easily get these cut tonight, and then take a shower and eat dinner. And then what will happen is that as I go this weekend, I'll be painting all the buoys. We're not going to go out this weekend on the boat. I'm going to get all the buoys cleaned and painted. And for that, you'll see I got to string up rope in the backyard to put them all up. But once I get all the buoys painted, and then we're ready to start going through the traps. And the traps are not in bad shape. It's relatively very new gear, and we did a lot of making sure that we fix things that were broken, or we as being you. I did a lot of repair work when they were out in the ocean. Anything that broke, I fixed it there on the spot. Some of the guys do temporary patchwork, but I didn't do any of that. I wanted to keep them. I know if you start doing those temporary patchwork fixes, at the end of the season, half the gear is all messed up. So I kept a lot of good repair. The only thing that I really need to change out is a lot of the chew-out woods, and you'll see that when we get to the fixing the traps. But the chew-out woods is essentially a piece of non-treated pine, and it has to be non-treated so that it rots quickly, because if the trap gets run over by a boat, like we were talking about here at the beginning of the video, the trap now becomes a ghost trap in the bottom of the ocean. And so NOAA regulations wants to make sure that whatever goes in that trap can get out. And stone crabs will break that thing off. Sometimes they don't even make it the whole season. They could rip that thing off. If you haven't seen any of our other videos, an adult stone crab crusher claw can exert 19,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. So they can easily break that off. They could break the trap too if they want to. We've got traps that they've broken. They literally will take that and just twist it and snap the plastic slat off of it and get out. But the chew-out woods is the thing that you have to repair the most, because since it's non-treated pine, those things rot very, very, very quickly. So that's really most of the repair that I have. It should go fairly quick. to repair them this year. So once we get to that point, it's going to be grabbing the trap, tying this rope on it to the new system that we're going to pull the traps up, repairing it, tying the rope and buoy to it, and stacking it off to the side. And the next time we touch that trap, it's going to be to load it on a U-Haul to take it to the marina. And I say load it on a U-Haul, guys, because since the boat is out of the water, I can't load all the traps on the boat because it's too much weight for the trailer. Trailer will be overweight, and you could have an accident or break the trailer. So we load all the traps onto a U-Haul truck, and we take that U-Haul to the marina. And then every time we come back, we're loading, and then we leave again, and we come back and we load. So last year I had my wife, the baby was brand new. She was only 5 or 6 months old when we started the season, so she couldn't drive the U-Haul. There's no place to put the car seat. But what she did, which really took way too long, even though we're pretty close to the marina, is every time I got back, she would be waiting for me. I would, call her like, hey, I'm going to be at the dock in 20 minutes. She would be waiting for me there, bring me to the house. I would drive the truck back. We would load the boat, drive the U-Haul truck back to the house, and then she would take me back to the marina. So this year, we're trying to recruit my dad to be the U-Haul driver. But he's got to be here at the house. He's got to spend the night here the night before, because I'll be leaving with the first trip. The first trip I'll put 30 of them in the back of my truck, and I'll put 10 on the boat. And I'll do the first trip, and I'll probably leave the dock. I have to look at the time the sun will be that day, but I would say somewhere around 4:30 in the morning. You're allowed to start, I think it's half an hour or 45 minutes before sunrise, and you're allowed to keep going the same time, half an hour, 45 minutes after sunrise. So we definitely want to take advantage of all that. It'll probably take me 3 trips to get all 120 in, because they're really covering a lot of ground over a long area. So guys, the other thing is, we're going to cut these ropes. This is, I don't know, I think it's called a soldering gun. It's got different tips on it. Rope cutting gun. I think you can get them at Harbor Freight, Home Depot, pretty much anywhere. This one has been around with us for a while. And what happens is you pull the trigger. This is sending the current through here. This gets really hot. And when you cut the rope, it melts the tip of the rope. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but it's going to prevent it from fraying. And that's how you should cut all the ropes, so that they don't fray, the tips are melted. This one has been with us. My grandfather had this and used this same one when we had our commercial lobster boat. So, very near and dear to my heart. Guys, I'm going to get cracking on these ropes. You got a long way to go, cut 130 of them. And bring it back once I'm done. All right, guys, so I have finished. I cut 125 of them. I still got a little bit of rope left in the roll that I want to save, because I need to string up rope to so we can hang the buoys on it. But so good day. I mean, day 3, and again, it's not full days. Some of the days I go from the morning to the night. But, I'm trying to plan to do certain things. I saw video editing or other videos that I'm working on. But now we got all the ropes cut for the traps. Then probably tomorrow or the day after, I'll go ahead and string up all the ropes here in the backyard, and I'll hang all the buoys so that then I could start cleaning them with like a soft like Brillo pad like you clean pots with. And once they're all clean, then they're ready to be painted. I'm about to paint today. Go ahead and paint them all, and then they're ready to coil up and start attaching them to these traps. But thank you guys for coming on this journey behind the scenes of what a commercial stone crab fisherman does in the off season with all the gear. And we're gonna keep bringing it along until these traps are done. They're ready to go into the water. Day 3 is over. All right, guys, welcome back. We are now, I think this is day 4, if I'm not mistaken. I got all the ropes strung up, put all the buoys on it. I was able to clean all the buoys this morning, and now we're getting ready to do some painting. It's been raining, so radar shows no rain, but I hear thunder, so fingers crossed. We don't get a lot of rain. If we get any rain, this is not gonna work. So this is something we got to do every year. Get the buoys looking good again. And if you see in some of the shots here of the buoys, some of these buoys, you might be wondering like, well, why don't you replace them? And the buoys are like $3.50, $4 each one. So when you have a bunch of traps, you can see how this could be quite expensive, just buying all new buoys for the year, right? So we keep using them. Obviously, if it's going to impact, if there's damage, it's going to impact their buoyancy, then I'll swap them out. But if not, you know, we got like this next one I'll show you here. It's missing a chunk. Got hit by a boat prop. You see, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and paint it and use it again. Sometimes they get hit and they take out a big chunk of them, and then that's going to impact the buoyancy of it. So that one we'll go ahead and swap it out. But we'll fill this sucker with some paint, and this thing will be as good as new. So after all the buoys are painted, then what I'll do in the morning is I'm going to go ahead and pick them all up, put a tie wrap on them, and set them to the side. And then as I start fixing the traps, I'll be adding the ropes back onto the traps, and the new rope that I was talking about to change how the ropes are attached to the trap, and see if that helps me out with the pain that I've been getting in my wrist pulling these things up on the boat by hand. But we are excited, looking forward to a good stone crab year. And we've got, before you know it, it'll be here. I think it's a few more weeks before we start the season. We are hopeful for a good year. Last year was not a good year at all. So we need those crabbies this year. And guys, the number that you see on the buoys, I don't have the placards on the boat right now because I take them off during the off season, but that is my commercial number. So by regulation, you have to have your number engraved into the buoy, and we use a like that soldering iron, and we just write it in and melt it. These buoys are made out of styrofoam, and you have to have your number on your buoy with your color, and then the boat will have that. I've got placards that I put on it during the season that show your number and your color of your buoy, and that's how they can identify that these are your traps. We also have it on the roof of the boat. That's also a regulation to have your number and the color of your buoy, that circle on the roof, because they fly planes overhead, and that's how they could determine if you are a commercial vessel, and then if you are pulling your traps, the ones that you're supposed to be pulling. So that's what that number is engraved in the buoys that you see. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and keep painting these. You saw this here. We're number 5 in out of 120. I don't think you want to watch me do this for 115 more. So I'm going to keep painting, and I'm going to bring you back when we're done, and you can see the finished product. All right, guys, we are finally done. I can't remember if I said day 3 at the beginning. I think it's day 4. The problem is I'm not doing all these in order. I'm working on other videos at the same time, or we're going fishing. So we're jumping. We're not doing all the work in the same days. And I want to say that this is day 4. I think it's day 4. But all the buoys are painted now, so really, really good. All I got to do now is coil them all up, put a zip tie on them, stack them, and then as I'm fixing the traps, tying on the new rope system where I'm going to attach this rope to, and repairing the traps, I can go ahead and put the rope in it, stack them to the side, they're ready to go. So I am I'm dying to go and start cooking, take a shower and start cooking. The baby was out here helping me. She's fussing. She knows we got steaks on the menu tonight. We were watching Beat Bobby Flay last night, and he was doing some amazing skirt steaks, and we want to try that recipe. The worst thing to do is watch Beat Bobby Flay when you're hungry, because you come out of that and you go to the supermarket and you're going to buy everything. But looking forward to that tonight. Grill up some steaks, take a shower, and we'll catch you on the next day. All right, guys, so here we are. We are on trap repair and putting the ropes on the traps. From here, it's bait and drop them in the water. So I've been doing some work at night trying to catch up, but essentially what we want to do is look at every one of these traps. We got to check the chew out wood. This is the wood that goes right here, which is the one that the crabs will chew out. Essentially, that's why it's called the chew out wood. So if the trap gets lost in the water, gets cut off by another boat propeller, this will stay here. This wood is untreated pine, so it rots very quickly and they could break right through that. The other thing that I'm doing as I check all of them is I got to check the trap to make sure that there's no damage. Now the crabs are strong enough that they can eventually break out of this plastic trap. But you see this one here has got some damage, so we'll need to go ahead and but fix it. So some of these have been around for a couple seasons and have caught some crab. They've got a lot of chewing that they've been doing on the plastic from the inside. And they do some damage to the trap. So we want to make sure that that's right. So you want to check everything here, because when you're out there in the ocean, it's a lot harder to make these repairs versus being on land. So we've checked that. We're going to put in a new chew out wood on this one. And then I'll explain to you what I'm doing with the rope. So now what I'm going to do is I'm changing all the ropes on these. And last year I had them tied from a corner, but what was happening is that as I pull the trap up, my hand is upside down, pulling all the weight of the trap, getting a lot of pain in my wrist, so it wasn't ergonomically correct. So now I'm tying it from both ends so that I could grab the rope and just pull straight up. So what we're doing is we're tying it from each side. You can hear the baby, she's out here. When I put the camera on her, she's camera shy. When I don't put the camera on her, she wants the camera. Then we're gonna tie a loop right here. And we actually made a video of how to build the traps and all that, and we didn't show this part, but if you do it like this, now you have the trap tied on both sides. It's actually better because if one of these sides of the plastic were to break, then you lose the trap, but you've got it held on both sides. And then now we're gonna get the rope. And if you remember, I had these all coiled up from when I painted them and strung it up in the backyard. And that was a fun time. We had that tropical storm, Debbie or Betty, I don't know, one of the first ones. And it was lots of fun doing that in the pouring rain, coiling them all up. But the winds were pretty strong, and I had them tied from the boat behind me to our fence. I didn't want the fence to fall down. So what I'm doing, guys, I cut off these from the trap. So this is the old knot, and I'm just taking it off. And now we're just gonna tie this to the loop. The other thing that this does, doing it this way, is that if you need to change traps and you need to move them from wherever you have them into deeper water throughout the year, you could untie the rope right here and just tie on a new rope versus having to untie it from the entire trap. And then the other thing that we do is you open up the rope, and you're gonna wanna stick the rope through. And this is gonna make sure that it doesn't slip, because this is putting so much tension and tightening the rope in the trap that it will not let this knot slip. It will not let that rope slip through it. And then the last step that we gotta do is make it official. Put on one of our FWC tags. And when you're commercial fishing, you have a certain number of these. And every trap's got to have one on there. Now this trap is ready to go. All right. Now go on to the next one. You can see this one has right here. You can see how they've got this thing here broken already from chewing on it. We're gonna go ahead and, like I said, this is so much easier to do it at home than sitting out there during the crab season trying to repair these out there. So if there's anything at all that looks like it could be a problem, we got to fix it here. Because it's not going to get better out there in the ocean. These traps sit out there for 6 months. So chew out wood is good. Now we're just going to tie the rope on it. And essentially we have tags that we've purchased which equal traps that we can have. We have 119 of them. You want to do the same thing here on this rope, is put that through the rope, and that's not going anywhere. So we got 119 tags for our traps. And once I get all this done, the only thing left that I have to do is get bait. Get bait and then shorten the ropes. And I'll show you here on one of these what I mean. But when I start the season, I have traps that are in very shallow water. And then I progressively move them deeper as the crab starts to move deeper. So the ropes can't be as long as they are because they're all going to be floating on top of the water. So I'll coil up some loops, and I've got these really big heavy duty tie wraps. I put 3 of them on there. Then when I'm going to move them to deep water and I load them on the boat, we're driving out, I cut the zip ties off, throw them in my garbage can, not in the water, and then the rope is ready to go for the deeper water. But that is the last step. We'll do that the day that we are loading up the U-Haul truck. So I rent a U-Haul truck, and we'll put all the traps in the U-Haul truck.
and drive it over to the marina, park it there, come and get the boat. We live right by the marina. You could probably walk to it. And then start loading it up and making trips nonstop until we're done. Now next year, this will be a big step. We don't have to redo these ropes. They're already on the traps. But I will take the ropes off to string them up to paint them, to clean them and paint them. The ropes get extremely dirty 6 months in the water. And there you go. Let's put our little tag for FWC. And if you're out of Florida and you don't know what FWC is, it's essentially the game warden, I think is what everybody else calls them. Here it's called FWC, which is Fish and Wildlife, Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation. All right, now we got two. So here we got one that the wood is no good. And so you could tell by looking at it, you want to get this off. Look at that, it just broke off. How rotted this wood is, which is what it's supposed to do, so they can easily chew this out. But if you leave this and you're like, oh, this might be pretty good, 2 weeks into the season, they're gonna break this off and all the crab's gonna escape out of your trap. So you wanna go ahead and fix them before you get out there. My brother-in-law, Lewis, if you're watching, thank you for that gift of this electric drill. This thing is amazing. We didn't know how much we needed that thing until he got it for me. Now I don't know how it went so long without one. And I'll do the next knot a little bit slower if you want to do this knot. All the commercial lobster and crab guys, we all do the same knot, but, and again, so this might look a little bit weird because I'm lefty, so I might spin the opposite way, but I go through it, go right through the middle. And the key is you want it to look like an X like that. If this is lumped, if this part is over this one, you'll have two loops here and one on the top. That knot is no good. So you see how it looks like an X? Pull it tight and stick this right through here. So we are, this is, if you ever know anybody that does commercial lobster, commercial crab, right at this time when the season's about to start and you're putting ropes on the traps and your next thoughts are, we gotta buy bait, we gotta get ready. It is like the most exciting time. I'll do this one slow too. So you bring it in from the bottom, give it one turn, put it through there and go from the top to the bottom. But yeah, right before the season starts and you're at the end of everything that you're doing, it is a really exciting time. Because the wait is over, the off-season wait. You've been doing boat maintenance, fixing traps, everything has come to an end and you're ready to put these things in and make some money. So guys, I'm gonna put on this last tag. Well, it's not the last one, I still got a bunch to go, but the last one that I'm going to show you, I don't think you want to watch me do this for another 116 more traps, but essentially that's what we're doing now with the trap repair. And again, I've got mine in pretty good condition because I spend the time when I'm out there I don't like to do temporary repairs because temporary repairs don't last. These crabs are extremely strong. They could break the plastic, they could break the wood with their claws, so they could get out of it. So temporary repair might look good, but it's not going to be good to keep them in there. But we do a good job during the season of taking the time to fixing them right when we're pulling them up and they're damaged. So this is going pretty quick, but next step, we'll probably finish today, and then it'll be moving on to shortening the ropes, but that'll be on the last day when we're loading the truck, and then getting bait. I am finally done with all the trap repair work. I stacked the last trap up against the wall. You can see behind me here, up against the wall. All 119 are ready to go. The only thing that I have left is to coil up the ropes. And I say coil up, I'll show you here. One opened up. We have all of our ropes in the trap, but when I start in the shallow water, this is too much rope. So what I'll do is I take and I coil, half of it like this, and I will go ahead and tie wrap this, leaving this will be floating at the surface with the buoy, and then the rest of the rope will be perfect for the shallow water. Then when I go to move them, I snip off, like the sound effects, I snip off the tie wraps, and I stack them on the boat, and then they are ready to transfer into the deep water. So that's super easy. I'm going to be working on that tomorrow. I'll start tonight, and then I'll program it all into the GPS tomorrow. Really look at all the data from last year where I had every trap. I keep a log of every single coordinate and what it caught, how many times I pulled it, how many times didn't have anything in it. So I'm going to analyze all that to see where we're going to put the best ones. And then other spots where, we're spreading these 119. 119 might seem like it's a lot, but it's really peanuts in the commercial stone crab industry. There's guys that I know out there that have 5,000 of them, right? So, obviously that's their full-time thing. They're not doing videos for YouTube, charter fishing. They're doing nothing else except stone crabbing. But we do have a lot of spots where I started at the beginning of the year, and I was surprised by how we did in these areas. So I want to look at all that. I also have it all by dates. So I'm going to analyze all that, program where they're going to go, and then I'm going to know the total that I'm going to shorten the ropes on. I don't know if I'll do it right before, to touch them all again, or do it the last day right as I'm loading the U-Haul truck. And I think I mentioned on one of the days that it's a Saturday, or I didn't mention it's a Saturday. I did mention that we were trying to recruit my dad to be the U-Haul driver, but what it is, it's actually on a Saturday. And if the marina it's a good weather day and it's packed, the park rangers are not going to let me hold up a dock there, while I keep loading and people are trying to get their boat in the water. And you want to be respectful, right? So we do have the right to actually, I know I said in one of the days you could start half an hour or 45 minutes before sunrise, and the same thing after sunsets. But for setting the traps, you can actually start at midnight. So I can be there at the marina, start at midnight. I don't think we're going to start at midnight because there's some spots that were really good that I definitely want to put traps there, but I am right in the middle of a lot of lobster guys. The last thing I want to do is go and set my traps and run over their traps. So that area there, I got to do right as the sun is coming up, or leave those, probably like 10 or 15 that go in that section to be the last 10 or 15 that I drop. And as soon as, half an hour, 40 minutes before the sun rises, you can at least see the shadows of the buoys to be able to drop them. So I'll have to plan how I'm going to do that once I decide where they're all going to go. But maybe we're going to start somewhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning. Depends on how far I'm going to run and how much I think that it'll take me. But we're going to bring you along on that one. That's going to be a separate video that I'm going to do with my son, and we'll start it off there at the marina so you can see day one. That's the most exciting day. Lobster, crab, whatever it is, opening day is the most exciting day. It's opening day to set the gear. First day to market is the 15th, but the excitement that you have on that first day setting the gear is unbelievable, right? So you've been waiting for it, 6 months, ready to put them all back. But So this is it, guys. That was it. We repaired all the traps. We painted the buoys. We cut the ropes here for the front of the traps and the new way that I'm going to be doing them this year. So instead of grabbing the rope upside down, I could just grab it like this and pull the trap up. We've done all that. We've put all the tags on them. We've put new chew out woods on them, and now they're ready to go. So very, very exciting day. I mean, I'm wet, I'm sweaty. I mean, it has just been a very overcast and nasty day for us here. Really, really nasty day. But thankfully it has come to an end. Now we can move on to other stuff. We have been doing this sporadically because I'm working on 7 videos right now. I'm doing, there's some more Garmin videos coming. There's a lot of maintenance videos coming for the boat to hopefully help our viewers that might have some of these issues. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, press the little bell notification so you don't miss any of these videos. Thank you for watching. Now you know what we do with the gear in the off season. I will catch you on the next one, and I'm gonna bring you along on day 1 when we go to set the traps.